Hey, what's going on? It's Jeff Newport from chasingstrength.com. And in today's video, we are going to answer the question of what to do if you feel like you're just spinning your wheels with your kettlebell workouts and you're just not progressing at the pace you think you should, or even at all. All right. Maybe you felt that way. Maybe you haven't. If you haven't, feel free to just tune this out and go do something else. Check out some of the other videos. But if you have, keep watching, right? Because if that's the case, you are not alone, my friend. In fact, just the other day, I got an email from a gentleman telling me or asking me the very same thing, like, hey man, I just feel like I'm spinning my wheels. What should I do? What am I doing wrong? It was admittedly, right? And what I mean by that is by his own admission, his biggest problem, even though, and here's the crazy part. He said he'd been using kettlebells for the last 20 years or so. Now, again, you are not alone. And he is not alone if you feel this way and if you're facing this right now. In fact, I'd say that this feeling of spinning your wheels is probably the biggest problem I've seen or know of in the greater kettlebell community as a whole. Now, why is that? Why does this seem to happen? All right. And it comes down to, in my opinion, which I think is probably kind of valid since I've been doing this for about 22 years now. I think this is my 22nd year using kettlebells with myself and training others with it. All right. So I think it's probably a valid opinion. You may want to disagree. You may not want to listen, but just hear me out for a minute. So back to the question, why does this happen? Why is this the biggest problem? Well, three words: too much variety. Okay. And conversely, on the flip side of that coin, not enough focus, right? That's the magic word: focus. Follow one course until successful. I'll repeat that, right? Follow one course until successful. And look, I get it. Some people hyper focus with perceivably boring minimalist training and training routines, right? And then they burn themselves out, right? If that happens to you, look, you're not alone either, but that's another topic for another time, right? So, of course, this assumes the course or the training plan you're following or the direction that you're traveling is the right course, okay, for where you want to go. And if not, you can find yourself in a ditch pretty darn quickly, okay? And then you guessed it, you're definitely spinning your wheels again. So, how do you avoid this, right? That's probably the biggest question that we all want the answer to. So, the easiest way to avoid falling in a ditch and spinning your wheels again, apart from focusing, okay, that goes without saying, right, is to pick one thing to focus on, one goal, and then chase down that goal until you actually catch it. All right. And it doesn't matter what the goal is, as long as it's your goal, right? It's not what's important to me or your wife or your spouse or your significant other or your boss. It's what's important to you, because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what's going to drive you to show up and focus on your training and get those results that you have been looking for, the ones that have been eluding you for so long. And then run the programs that will get you to your goal. Now, look, just make sure that the program or programs that you're running are actually designed to do what you want them to do, and that you're not just trying to jam the proverbial square peg into the round hole. You know what I'm saying? Here are some ideas for you in case you're stuck. Number one, focus on training to get stronger. Number two, train to improve your conditioning. Number three, here's a big one that many of us often neglect at the expense of aesthetics or performance: train to improve your health. Number four, train to get leaner. Number five, train to get rid of injury or become more mobile, right? So you can move more freely and feel more like a kid again instead of a decrepit old man. I'm going to say something about that. I was sorry. I was thinking about, man, I felt like a decrepit old man at 32. Okay. So I'm not telling you to do anything that I haven't done myself. Number six, train to become more powerful or get more powerful. Number seven, train to improve your sport like BJJ or mountain biking or, underwater basket weaving. That's not a sport. That's just a class we took in college. Anyway, you get my point. So, or what you could do is you could stack your goals if you have more than one. So, for example, that would look like something along these lines: rehab my busted shoulder so I can press the 40-kilo kettlebell, what's called the bulldog, right? Or here's another one: improve my conditioning on the mats for BJJ so I'm not sucking wind so much. However, here's what I do not recommend doing: is framing a goal for yourself that sounds or looks something like the following. We'll stick it up here on the screen, right? Get as big and as strong and as powerful and as lean as possible. All right. Why not? Well, it sounds good, right? But it's too vague, right? What does get as big and strong and powerful and as lean as possible actually mean? I mean, you don't know. So you got to put some specifics on it. So your goal has to be measured. Why? Because that's the only way you know for sure that you're making progress and not ending up in the ditch once again, spinning your wheels, frustrated that you're not making any progress. Does that make sense? So let's take a look at some examples. So number one, get stronger. Here is an example. I want to clean and press a pair of 32 kilo kettlebells for 5 reps. Okay, great. Now, you can also stick a time line on there, right? So it could be, I want to clean and press a pair of 32 kilo kettlebells for 5 reps by this time next year, or by my whatever birthday, or by summertime. Okay. Usually most things don't happen without a deadline, but the only reason I didn't put a deadline on there for you is because I used a specific example of 32 kilo kettlebells for 5 reps. Okay, does that make sense? Number 2, train to improve your conditioning. So for example, I want my resting heart rate to drop by 5 beats per minute, or I want to be able to hike the Rockies again this year and not get out of breath so much like I did last year. Example number 3, train to improve your health. Here's the example. I want my blood pressure to drop from 140 over 90 to a healthy 120 over 80, and my fasting blood sugar glucose to drop from 100 to 90 in the next 6 months. Okay. Here's another one. Train to get leaner. I want to knock 2 inches off my waist, go from a 36-inch waist down to a 34-inch waist. And I'd actually like to do it by the summer. Here's another example. Number 5, train to get rid of injury or become more mobile. So here's the example. I want to get rid of this pain in my left shoulder that bothers me every time I press a kettlebell overhead. Okay. Or another one. I want to get rid of this chronic lower back pain that seems to show up the day after I do kettlebell swings. Okay. Number 6, train to become more powerful. Here's the example. I want to pass the 5-minute snatch test, which is 100 snatches with a 24 kilo kettlebell. And I want to do it by summertime. Okay. Number 7, train to improve your sport. Okay. Here's the example. I want to be able to roll for 5-minute rounds without my grip failing me or gassing out. Okay. Or more specifically, how about 5-minute rounds? Okay. So hopefully you get the picture. So let's recap. Number 1, pick one goal. Number 2, focus on that goal almost to the point of obsession. Number 3, keep going so that you achieve that goal. Or said another way, keep going until you achieve that goal. Well, those sounds great, Jeff, but do you have any resources for me that can help me achieve any of those goals that you outlined? Absolutely, thought you'd never ask. So, okay, obviously I'm kind of being smart out there, but you get my point. So what I will do is, here are some ideas for you. Okay. And then I'll leave the links to the programs that will help you achieve those goals in the description below. All right. Let's say you want a stronger kettlebell clean and press. Let's say you want to take your 4-rep max, your current 4-rep max, and turn it into an easy 10 sets of 6. Well, there's a program that'll help you do that. I'll leave it in the description below. Let's say you want to improve your health and get leaner simultaneously. Okay. Got a program for that. Leave a description in the link below. And let's say you want the magic bullet of getting leaner, more muscular, and without losing strength. Okay. Well, we got a program for that. I'll leave that in the link below. Let's say you want to get stronger and more powerful, or both at the same time, because the two kind of do go hand in hand. If you push your max strength up, your power will almost always get dragged up with it. Okay. So I've got a program for that. I'll leave that in the link below. And finally, let's just say you wanted to improve your conditioning for both your sport and your lifestyle. Okay. Well, we've got a program that will help you do that. I'll leave a link in the description below. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, click the like button. Leave me your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what your experience has been with making progress, focusing on goals, spinning your wheels, and what you plan on doing differently this year so that you don't film your very own Groundhog Day. And if you don't know what that is, it's a movie. I think it was made in the early 90s with Bill Murray. Absolutely excellent. Go watch it after you get your training session / workout done. Okay. And if you haven't already, go ahead and click the subscribe button. And if you found this video helpful, if you know somebody who's in this same position of spinning their wheels and not making any progress year after year after year, send them the link to this video. Help them out. Okay. Do your buddy a solid. Okay. Until next time, my friend, stay strong.